Hello, dear friends. I shall speak today on the 14th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, and its title is The Three Modes of Nature. When Lord Krishna speaks to Arjun about the three modes of nature, he wants Arjun to understand how human behavior is actually determined by those three modes of nature. So any human behavior, like I said, can be categorized into those three modes of nature. The first and lowest mode of nature is called the mode of ignorance. As the name itself suggests, ignorance means absence of intelligence, absence of higher knowledge, absence of light, and presence of darkness and evil. This is the mode of ignorance. In this mode, you will find persons who very easily can harm themselves and can harm others as well. They speak very harshly. They also believe in evil. Their actions are very harsh, and I'm sure you can relate to some of these persons who are actually in your lives. So, in one word, you can say that ignorant people are almost toxic persons. You must have heard about this term. So it is difficult to coexist with such person because their logic and reasoning is not to the required level. They will not try to understand you. They will not understand your feelings. They will be very, very selfish. And the difficulty they can put in your life is enormous. So this is the mode of ignorance. But the real danger lies in the fact that anybody who dies in an extended mode of ignorance will acquire an animal life in the next birth. This is stated clearly in the Bhagavad Gita. And if I may remind you, the Bhagavad Gita is the conversation between Lord Krishna and Arjuna. The next mode of nature is the mode of passion. Now, the definition of passion is that it is something which is in exaggeration, something which is in excess. Now, several times I've told you that the golden median rule of Lord Buddha is that you should not deprive yourself and you should not exaggerate. You need to be balanced in the middle. Now, the 7 billion people on earth are operating in a mix of passion and ignorance. That is, those two lower modes of nature. Now, somebody can be passionate about his work, about his husband, his wife, his children, about his material possessions like cars, houses, bungalows. So passion means that you have an exaggerated relationship with objects and people. You can be passionate about food, but you don't realize that you can be putting your health at risk. This is the danger of passion. Passion makes you blind. Passion is destructive. Passion makes you only hear but not listen. I'm sure you are aware of the difference between hearing and listening. So, just as ignorance is dangerous, passion also is dangerous. But let me inform you that the majority of humans on earth are operating mostly in those two levels. That is, any mix of passion and ignorance. The last mode of nature is the mode of goodness. In this mode, we find people who display compassion, who display nurturing and affectionate attitudes towards himself and others. Their words are soft and kind. They understand the feelings of others. They put others first. They are not selfish. They are ready to help. So now you have a picture of what is the mode of goodness. And obviously you will realize that the mode of goodness is slowly disappearing. It is present, but it is quite limited in quantity. This is the problem with Earth and the era in which we are living. Darkness and evil are present at 75%. And this is why the mode of ignorance and passion are more ever present, while goodness is limited in quantity. So when we understand these three modes of nature, then we can understand ourselves, and surely we can understand others. Now, when you see that you are surrounded by passionate and toxic people and ignorant people, you should not make enormous attempts to try to change them, because this is their karma. Even Lord Krishna tells Arjuna in the Mahabharata, in the Bhagavad Gita, don't waste your time in trying to change these persons. You can try, but you will see that if they are excessively ignorant and excessively passionate, all your efforts will be futile. That means you shall not succeed in changing these persons, because they won't listen to wise words, will not listen to good advice. Whereas a person in the mode of goodness will be attentive to details, will be attentive to spiritual matters, will be keen to put into practice the advices of a guru or a spiritual master. They see the mode of goodness. I'm sure you are seeing the picture now of your own behavior and the behavior of your own relationships close to you, and how you can categorize them into ignorant, passion, and goodness. Now, of course, anybody will have a mix of all these modes of nature, but as per your consciousness, as per your karma, there shall be one of those modes of nature which shall be dominant. And according to that mode of nature which is dominant in your nature, your corresponding behaviors will be coupled to that mode of nature. So this is simple to understand. It is there. But until you don't have access to higher knowledge, to spiritual knowledge, you keep asking your questions. Why is my husband like this? Why are my children like this? Why are my colleagues like this? But now you have the answer. Again, so many times I have told you, when you don't know, you are confused, you are restless, you are sleepless. But when you know, you are at peace. And that is effectively what spirituality informs us. Knowledge is light. Knowledge dispels the darkness in our lives. But you must go and look for that knowledge. You must go and look for that light. So the three modes of nature are there, and it is your duty to understand them. Now that you have understood, what is the next step? The next step is to make all necessary efforts to move from the mode of ignorance and passion to the mode of goodness. This is logical, isn't it? So how do you do that? It is by putting spiritual knowledge into practice. It is the gathering of higher knowledge. It is following a spiritual master, a guru in which you have trust. When you do all this, then your personal growth will take a different level. Progress will be assured because you cannot remain at the same level. Consciousness must be expanded. The current level of consciousness in which you are is dependent on the mode of nature in which you are operating. And this is the truth. That is why I'm explaining it to you today. So be aware of your mode of nature and make all the necessary efforts to switch from the lower level to the higher level. So when you are able to do this, then you will see that your personality, your behavior, your character will undergo a powerful transformation.